Hi everyone, it's meteorologist Brian Bennett. Here's the very latest on Tropical Storm Eta. As of this recording, late Sunday evening, the center of circulation is moving across the very southern tip of Florida and the Florida Keys. You can see the grayer color here representing that center, and we're seeing a bit of convection developing around that center of circulation as well, which means the storm is perhaps becoming better organized, almost like an eye wall is attempting to develop in these rain bands and this convection wrapping around the center of circulation. We are seeing some really heavy rain and some gusty winds as well. Where's the storm going? Well, this is interesting here, but this is the GFS track, or at least the ensemble track, over the next couple of days, and you can see, it's basically like somebody threw spaghetti at the wall. The models are very confused by this storm, a lot of factors at play, so this doesn't really do us a whole lot of good. So fortunately though, I've looked at numerous different models, and I think I have a decent idea of what's going to happen over the coming days. So let's try to quickly go through that and try to clarify this for you. All right, right now, the low pressure, the center of circulation, located very close to the Florida Keys, and you can see that wind rotating counterclockwise. The wind barb here indicating that we have winds that are sustained right around 35 to 40 miles per hour. Wind gusts are possible on the order of 60 miles per hour, anywhere from about West Palm Beach down through Miami Beach and the Florida Keys overnight tonight as the storm continues to move westward, and then those winds will diminish the farther north you go. So Space Coast area, we'll see winds blowing 20 to 30 miles per hour. Tampa Bay looking at winds blowing right around 20, maybe gusting to 30, 35 miles per hour overnight tonight and tomorrow morning. Here's the official track from the National Hurricane Center, and you can see they have the storm moving westward right over the Keys, potentially becoming a low-end Cat 1 hurricane, and then kind of chilling out here in the Gulf for a little bit before it turns to the north and starts to drift northward a bit. Still a huge cone of uncertainty with this storm. Will it move into Tampa Bay, or will it head towards the Florida Panhandle, and what will the intensity be? So there are a lot of question marks. Again, I'm going to do my best to try to answer that for you, but just know that confidence long term is pretty low. All right, so here's a look at the future radar. This is the high resolution rapid or fresh model, and let's take a look at the next 24 to 36 hours. So fast forwarding through 2 a.m. Sunday night, you can see the heavy rain continuing to band across parts of southern Florida. So areas that have already picked up a half a foot of rain have the potential of picking up an additional 6 inches or so across southern Florida. So streets flooding in some locations across southern Florida. The winds are strong enough to bring down a branch or two, or maybe even knock out electricity in a few areas. So we are looking at what you would expect from a tropical storm: heavy rain, gusty winds, and of course offshore, we're looking at the large waves and the storm surge risk as well. All right, let's go forward into the future some more, all the way to your Monday morning. Here we are Monday morning, still looking at some heavy banding of rain across South Florida. Here's Tampa right here, Pinellas County, Hillsborough County, and you can see that we're looking at possibility for a few showers and storms, but the majority of the banding looks like it's going to stay in southern Florida. As we head towards Monday afternoon, scattered showers and storms drifting across much of the Florida peninsula, but the consistent nonstop banding is moving offshore with the tropical system as it continues to move off to the west. As we move toward Monday evening, same thing. A few showers and storms drifting across the peninsula. Some heavy downpours possible at times with that tropical nature of these showers and storms, but again, that banding looks like it is going to continue to move westward for the most part. Same thing goes as we head towards Tuesday morning. A few showers and storms, but the heaviest rain starting to remain offshore. All right, so how much rain are we looking at over the next 24 to 36 hours? So by Monday evening, we're going to pick up an additional quite a bit of rain. The purple color here represents an additional 7 inches or so of rain possible across South Florida. That's on top of the half foot that we've already seen. So localized flooding, definitely one of the big threats with this tropical system. Head up into Tampa Bay and much of downtown Tampa and St. Petersburg and areas north of I-4. And you're looking at less of that rain banding and more of just kind of scattered showers and storms moving across the area. Not to say we couldn't see some heavy downpours, but the heaviest rain is going to remain mainly about Highlands County and south overnight tonight and even into the morning hours of your Monday as well. All right, that's rainfall totals. What about wind? Let's fast forward to about 2 o'clock in the morning. Here we are at 2 a.m. The center of circulation is starting to move right over Key West. We're getting winds that are blowing onshore in Miami Beach, so a storm surge risk will continue. The winds are gusting anywhere from about 40 to 60 miles per hour, anywhere in this kind of orangish to reddish color here, which will be happening near the center of the storm and in the rain bands that are circulating around that storm as well. So really gusty conditions, again, primarily Highlands and about DeSoto County and south. Head up into Tampa Bay, at least the actual bay itself, and the winds won't be quite as strong, perhaps 30 to maybe 40 miles per hour in St. Petersburg and maybe about 35 mile per hour gusts in the downtown Tampa area. Fast forwarding to Monday afternoon, you can see the winds are still breezy across much of the state, blowing anywhere from 20 to maybe up to 40 miles per hour across much of the peninsula, but the storm is exiting the state, therefore the winds will start to diminish once we move through the latter part of your Monday and into Monday night as well. Here we are Tuesday morning, and it's still breezy, winds blowing 20 to maybe 30 miles per hour, but the 40 to 60 mile per hour winds that we're experiencing for your Sunday night and Monday morning, those will follow the storm out into the Gulf of Mexico. All right, what about the potential for a water spout? Could definitely see a water spout develop overnight, especially in those rain bands. So this model here is showing you the significant tornado parameter outlook, indicating the possibility for a little bit of wind shear that could spur a water spout or maybe even a really weak tornado overnight tonight or even into the first half of your Monday before that threat diminishes by Monday afternoon. Here's a look at the National Hurricane Center's outlook for storm surge risk, and we are looking at a storm surge risk of 2 to 3 feet in southeast Florida, 1 to 2 feet along the Space Coast, and 2 to 4 feet along much of the Keys and also very southwestern tip of Florida as well. Also keep an eye on your local tides as well. The tide right now is swinging about 2 to 3 feet, so that could add an additional amount of water on top of the forecast storm surge as well. All right, that's the next 24 to 36 hours. Then what's going to happen with this storm? Is it going to move back towards Tampa Bay or the peninsula? Let's take a look at the European model here and see if we can iron some of that out. So real quick here, let's highlight where the storm is right now. So you can see the center of circulation located in this general vicinity right here. We actually have another low pressure located over Cuba, and these two storms are going to do a bit of a dance. It's called the Fujiwara effect, and we're going to see the storm actually go westward over the Keys and then make a turn to the southwest, dancing around that area of low pressure off the southwest coast of Cuba. So that is why we see the turn back to the southwest. The storm will then remain in this general vicinity for perhaps 36, maybe 48 hours, and then it's going to start to move back off to the north once again. Now, will it take a turn more to the northeast, or will make a turn more towards the north? That, honestly, is still a bit of a question mark, and not something I'm really trusting the models too much with yet. Fortunately, we still have some time for things to develop and for the models to latch onto this before we have to potentially make any preparations that might need to be made if that becomes a case in Tampa Bay or the Florida Panhandle. I will say most of the models are saying that we are going to look at some pretty hostile conditions for the tropical system. So yes, it would likely become a Cat 1 hurricane out here in the Gulf of Mexico over the really warm water. But then as the storm moves north, we're going to encounter dry air, wind shear, and also some cooler water. So the storm could be pretty intimidating looking out here in the east central Gulf of Mexico, but as it approaches shoreline, right now the thinking is that whatever storm we do have is going to weaken rapidly as it approaches the shoreline. And that's a solution that I'm okay buying into, because it's 2020 and we do not need any additional tropical systems, you know? All right, here we are Monday evening. The storm has moved off the west tip of Cuba, we're still looking at a tropical storm. And then as we move towards Wednesday, here we are Wednesday morning, the European model has a tropical storm, or maybe even a lower end Cat 1 hurricane, basically due west of Sanibel by Wednesday afternoon. So that storm does increase in intensity here in the east central Gulf of Mexico. And then the European thinks that it will continue on a north to northeast trend. And then right now this model has it making landfall in Big Bend. I would not put any money on that. Anybody in the Florida Peninsula all the way up through the Florida Panhandle needs to keep a close eye on this storm. There are a lot of uncertainties, and intensity is one of them. Will it be a hurricane, or will it just be a washed out tropical depression? Both those possibilities exist at this point, and that's why we're going to keep an eye on it in the coming days, because really beyond Wednesday, things are relatively uncertain. And the reason they're uncertain is because of the factors that are at play. The main factor being this high pressure to the north. The blue here represents the storm, the low pressure. The orange represents high pressure. And the storm system cannot move north. It wants to move north. It'd love to move north, but unfortunately with this high pressure here, it can't do so. This is like a big brick wall that will not allow the storm to move on that trajectory. So instead we're seeing that westerly movement because of that high, and then we're seeing the Fujiwara effect with that other low pressure, making it move off to the southwest, and then the storm is going to be allowed to move back to the north once that high pressure erodes. So let's take a look at that. The orange color again representing the high pressure. Notice the storm moves to the southwest. That high pressure actually starts to dissolve a little bit. So here we are Tuesday evening. High pressure is retrograding, and the storm says, okay, awesome. Now I can move north now that the high is moving out of the way. But then what happens? The high pressure, according to the European, actually starts to build back in, and that kind of traps the storm once again. It slows it down. It subjects it to more wind shear and kind of keeps it in an area with cooler waters and some cool upwelling as well, which would essentially kill the storm if that were to happen. So yeah, a lot of factors at play that will determine the exact trajectory of the storm and also the intensity, and that's something we'll continue to watch. Either way though, the potential, whether it remains a hurricane or a tropical storm, or it diminishes into a tropical depression, the possibility for some heavy rainfall totals still will exist across northern Florida. So here we are over the next 24 hours, and you can see those rain bands bringing heavy rain across South Florida. But notice Tampa and Pinellas County right there, not really seeing a ton of rain quite yet from the tropical system, but then as the storm moves off to the north, even if it weakens considerably, the potential will exist for some heavy downpours anywhere from central Florida all the way up through the Panhandle as we move into Thursday and Friday. So yeah, let me mention that Thursday and Friday would be the greatest chance that we would see an impact if this tropical system does make a landfall or does hang together as it moves into either the Tampa Bay or the Florida Panhandle area. All right, so hopefully I answered some questions for you. I wish I could say exactly what's going to happen with this storm long term, but there are too many uncertainties to really do that at this point. But stay tuned. I'll continue to have updates for you. Until then, thank you for watching. Stay safe and have a great Monday.